Hi, Julia. I'm so super excited to have you here today, and I invited you so you can share your experience working with me. Please introduce yourself.
Hi Ines, and hi everyone else who is watching this video. My name is Julia, and we've been exercising with Ines since summer 2019.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, I wanted to just ask you, what were your main struggles before you met me, before we started to work together?
I think as a new mother, my challenges were firstly lack of time for yourself. So I had a newborn who was always wanting to be held no matter what she was doing, or either she was sleeping or breastfed, or even just when she was staying alert, she wanted to always be held in the arms. So my number one challenge was how to free up a little bit of time to do a little bit of exercise. And then another thing that I always had at the back of my mind was I always wanted to go back to the same fitness levels, or similar at least fitness levels that I used to have before getting pregnant, because I used to be quite active in fitness. I used to go to the gym 4 or 5, sometimes 6 days a week. I used to be able to do the CrossFit style training, and I really enjoy doing high intensity training in the gym. So I wanted to try and go back in that direction whenever I could after giving birth.
Ah, sweet, sweet. And what was the main reason you looked up for me? Like, why me? Why did you start? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I think one of the drivers was the fact that I needed to find a very flexible arrangement due to this issue that I've mentioned earlier about the lack of time. And it's also not just the lack of time, but it's also the fact that you need more flexibility to exercise. So I used to attend some of the group classes with other mothers, like buggy fitness classes in the park, which were great to keep myself sane and to see other mothers in a similar position to myself. And by all means, you know, if you're a mother, go and do those. The only issue I had was that those won't be systematic trainings from my side, because they were scheduled at the same time all of the time. And if you were late for the class, you were late. You couldn't really catch up. And lots of times I noticed that I was missing those classes simply because my baby would decide that she wanted to start breastfeeding at the wrong time, or she would fall asleep in the house, so I wouldn't be able to move her. So there were lots of challenges associated with that. And I realized that I can't really go into any exercise routine, however small it is, even if it's for once or twice per week. I still couldn't do it because there was no such flexibility. And then I came across your advertisement, which was saying that you could also exercise in the comfort of the mother's home. And that was a huge relief, because that meant that I could have my baby in a different room when somebody would be looking after her, or I could have her next to me whilst exercising, and I didn't have to think about making it past the doorstep, because as lots of mothers will tell you, making past the doorstep in the first 3, 4, 5 months is a big achievement of the day in its own right.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Julia. That's really kind of you. And what are your biggest results within this year? Like when we started, like, how do you see your progress? Where you at now, and then when you started?
Sure. I think one important point to note is that when we started with you, and I've told you that you know, I would like to be able to go back to my pre-pregnancy fitness levels, etc. You kind of provided very good education to me in terms of the importance of working on the things like pelvic floor, deep core muscles, postural exercising, so as to prepare my body in order to start taking higher impact. And that was really important because unfortunately not all of the classes out there that are marketed as postnatal are actually such. So they throw you sometimes in very hardcore exercising, like you are being asked to do planks, you're being asked to do burpees, lots of jumps, etc. And it's just not the right way of doing so, because then you will do more damage to your body than good. I'm not saying that all of the classes are like this. The ones that I've attended mostly were really good, but I did happen to come across a class where this harsh level of exercise was advocated early on for the mothers. And I think it was very eye-opening for me to talk with you and understand the importance of, let's put it this way, a more boring way of exercising, but at the same time preparing my body for better results. And I could see how, I could actually feel how my core was getting stronger. And now I can even see that, because I can see the, you know, the return of my squares on the apps. So that's great. And obviously it was very important for a breastfeeding mother to also try and work on her posture, because when you breastfeed, your posture completely changes. You become from, you know, being straight into that type of shape, and it's really not great. So working on some of the group muscles to somewhat correct for that was also great. Obviously, once you stop breastfeeding, you also naturally go back to a better position, but also working on those muscles makes sure that you return to that better posture earlier, and you know, you completely straighten out.
Yeah, absolutely. I am exactly all, like, within one first year, all moms that are wanting to go back into this shape and so on, like, I would advise them to slow down and go step by step. It's about recovery, especially the first year. It's so important. If you miss that part, it's just like you can do more damage than you. So thank you, Julia. And I just wanted to as well, all the moms that out there, all the women that have had their babies, what would be advice for them if they are considering to work with me? And yeah.
Yeah, well, I would say that Ines is a very bubbly person. You will always enjoy your training sessions with her. You will get not just the training itself, but also the psychological side. Firstly, you'll feel great that you've done something for yourselves, because it's very important to do something for yourself, even if it's once or twice per week. And you will have a very understanding personal trainer who can you know, listen to you, and perhaps even sometimes give you advice or some empathy, which is very important. And yeah, it's a very warm experience, and at the same time it gives you results.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Julia.